What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. Now, I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if LA Noire 2 is in development. Now, this is a very interesting rumor. We've actually talked about LA Noire 2 in the past, talked about how it is a big franchise for Take-Two, a franchise that they probably don't want to let go of, and a franchise that seems to constantly be sticking around, even though of all of the drama and all of the the negative stuff that basically happened with LA Noire and the idea that that studio, the studio that made LA Noire, would never be able to make an LA Noire 2, mainly because they shut down, and there's just no chance at that. But there's always been talk of LA Noire 2, with them constantly remastering it, bringing it to new consoles, bringing it to the Switch, bringing it to the current gen we have now, right? And it's a remastered state. LA Noire has always been around and has stuck around for a very long time. So this is an interesting one. Let's go over what actually happened. This wasn't a leaker. This wasn't from Reddit. This wasn't from, although Reddit did capture this, but this actually was on YouTube, which auto-generated an LA Noire Part 2 channel for an as-yet unannounced game. For those unaware, YouTube typically does this when there's a lot of videos on the same subjects. You know how there's like the topic channels, stuff like that. And in the case of LA Noire Part 2, has found a bunch of 80s music attributed to the sequel licensed by Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two. There's also a reference to LA Noire's radio station, KTI, suggesting the songs are going to be played on that station during the game. The YouTube channel has been shut down ever since. So that's an interesting one. So there's been so many videos being made on LA Noire 2 for whatever reason. Literally any video could have classified it. But actually, it's Part 2, not LA Noire 2. LA Noire Part 2. But there's been so many videos that YouTube auto-generated a playlist for it. And then it's been since shut down. That's interesting because while that maybe not necessarily is the biggest thing in the world, that could have been a mistake. That could have been just because maybe some bots just made 1,000 videos titling it that, and then YouTube, because of its algorithm, just grouped them all together into a playlist for a LA Noire Part 2. That's possible, but with this, and then with everything else we've heard that, well, again, if an LA Noire 2 were to be made, it can't be made by Team Bondi, right? Because that's the studio that made the first game. That studio shut down. The studio had so many problems, right? They went through staff like crazy, like actually the gaming industry has never seen before. So it wouldn't be them. It would have to be some other company. But Take-Two owns it. So it's Take-Two. Yes, it is under Rockstar. So there's a couple like trickle-down things. Really, though, anybody that Take-Two wants can make this. I mean, they would have to license with them or maybe one of their own companies, whatever. I don't not believe it. I want to believe that LA Noire 2 is still around. And again, what we talked about in the past, like, this is a franchise that's not going away, but and this is what kind of brings more like credibility to it all. It's not going away, and it almost seems like it still wants to be right in your face. Like, again, they've talked about it, that I believe some people even said in past videos that they've called it a franchise. So franchise normally doesn't mean just one game. It normally means, a series. Like, you want to make it more than one. So they've called it a franchise before. There's been rumors for years that an LA Noire 2 could be made or should be made, stuff like that. And again, it's a franchise that, and see, even I'm calling it a franchise. I guess it's a franchise because now there's so many variations of the game. They have the case files. They had VR case files. Again, they remastered it for the current gen that we're in now. They put it on the Switch. So clearly, this game, which was 2011, it's almost, it's 9 years old. It's going to be 10 years old next year. This is a game that was popular back then. I don't think it sold extremely well. It just didn't sell for how much money it took them to make it, because it was a very, very expensive project to make. So in making a Part 2, I feel like they would have to have a lot of things solved. They'd have to have figured a lot of stuff out, because they cannot do what they did with LA Noire, the first game. They cannot do that again here. But again, I wouldn't put it past them. It's a game franchise that I think they want to make more of, and they've definitely made it clear that this is something that they still want around. Again, constantly bringing it back, constantly having these variations. They want people still talking about it, and people still do. And the game is kind of a legend in its own right nowadays. If you think, in a lot of ways, it's a legend for the wrong ways, right? Because of all the controversy, all the negative stuff that happened with Team Bondi. But on the other side, it was a revolutionary game. It absolutely was. It was a revolutionary game that excelled in the things that it wanted to excel at, and then everything else, it actually was a pretty bad. I overall love the game. I think it's actually an amazing game, but there were some absolutely terrible things in it, like the combat, like the fighting, like the shooting, like the open world, anything open world aspect, and yet the good parts of the game or even the amazing parts. Again, revolutionary at the time, and even still right now, the facial recognition and being able to tell if they're lying or if they're bluffing, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely amazing. So I would sign up 100% day one immediately for an LA Noire Part 2. And again, this YouTube thing could have just been bots making a bunch of videos and then YouTube grouping them all together, and then they say, well, okay, that was a mistake because these are just kind of fake videos, right? They're not actually real, so we have to delete this YouTube channel. That could have been it, but at the same time, you have that. You have, again, the whole licensed music. You have the whole KTI music station. So you have all that stuff, which actually directly links. So I don't know how that can actually be fake. You have those things, and then, again, you have all of the talk over the last couple of years. This is not the first time we've heard rumors, by the way, that LA Noire 2 was in development. So you compile all of those things together, and what do you get? You get that it is kind of likely. Now, again, Take-Two's huge, right? They're also in the BioShock sphere because, right, they own BioShock. It's just different companies. They have BioShock. They have the whole Rockstar brand. So they have Red Dead. They have GTA. They have Bully. So the question is, what do you do next, right? Is it GTA 6? For the longest time, we've always talked about GTA 6 and Bully 2. Actually, I believe Mafia is also part of this company as well because Take-Two owns them. So you have all these games, but people have always assumed Bully 2 or GTA 6, which is the first one that's going to come from Rockstar. Do we have to now start saying that there's 3 Rockstar teams and the third one is making LA Noire 2? And then obviously eventually you get a Red Dead Redemption 3. So there's some fun stuff. I mean, these are really exciting times for sure in the gaming industry. And while it could be a while away, I don't think an LA Noire 2 would come out before a GTA 6 or a Bully 2. Whichever one of those two games is coming out, that one would come out first. But again, I would absolutely sign up for an LA Noire 2. I do love that game. I have a lot of respect for that game. There are a lot of problems. There were a lot of problems in the development cycle with it, but I feel like, now you're not going to make a part 2 if you're going to do it the way you did it before. If you do it wrong again, they're not going to do that. So guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think LA Noire 2 is a possibility? Do you think it's being made? What do you think about these rumors? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel podcast now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe out there, guys. We're all in this fight together. If you guys need us, if you guys need to talk to somebody, to me, to the community, YouTube, Discord, Twitter, we're everywhere. Get in touch. Again, stay safe, and I hope to see you all on the next video.